less than 2,000.
The podcast.
I adore me amor. Okay, we're definitely not using that.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Or are we?
I don't think, we do another take, it's not going to get any better.
I had to close my eyes to get through that. Like, I couldn't look you in the eye while saying, the only way I could muster getting through the beginning of I Adore Mi Amor was to actually close my eyes.
Do you remember this one?
That was it.
It's the same song, I think. Dream on, dream away. I think I'm gonna have to stay. Hey.
I do remember that one.
Something like that.
Is that actually the same one? Is that
think-
actually the same song?
I think it is, because I really only know 3 Color Me Bad songs very well, and the slow one is I Adore Mi Amor, so I'm guessing that was it.
Oh, yeah, that had to be. I mean, because I was amazed, because it was like, I think the other day when we were talking, we were like trying to figure that out. It was like, we're talking about the same song, bro. It's just like the refrain and everything else is different.
Right.
And it shouldn't jive. It feels like it's a totally different track, but it's the same song. It's all I Adore Mi Amor.
How did we end up choosing this for our topic?
I wanna sex you up. I don't know. I just the thing is, I think you called me up and you go, what is more 90s than C.M.B. Color Me Bad?
Right. Yes.
I mean, there is nothing more 90s than Color Me Bad. I'm sorry.
Early 90s, specifically early 90s, very, very early 90s in the Milli Vanilli vein. And this is yes. Okay. So this is our second to last episode of the season. And we're rounding third and we're coming home for the year 2020. And so we just needed something that's like screams 90s.
And it's also pretty dope because, I mean, let's be honest, like, Color Me Bad, C.M.B., this album, that's my initials, bro.
Chad Michael Bishoff.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to say it for everybody. I mean, Michael is sort of I'm not proud of my middle name. Should I be proud of my middle name,
Sure,
Michael?
you should. And I've been saying for years you should go by Chad Michael. That should be your name.
Well, that would be cool. I think the reason why I'm hesitant on my middle name is because my mom never used it unless I was in trouble.
Yeah.
So I was trained from a young boy that if I heard the word Michael, I knew I was and so...
Well, CMB does not mean Chad Michael Bishoff. It means Color Me Bad. Bad with 2 Ds. So you got to remember the 2 Ds. And they got their name from a horse, a racehorse was named Color Me Bad, 1D. And I guess from that, they came up with the name. And their original name was Take One. But they decided to go with Color Me Bad because there's a band called Take Six, and they felt that it was too close.
Probably a good idea, but does it really matter? Because they still only really had one album. I mean, I guess they had that second one that we didn't even realize existed that came out in like 97, which I guess we will not be talking.
No.
What?
They have a few albums actually.
No,
but
they had one album, C.M.B. They had one album. That's it.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking about. We are talking about the C.M.B. 1991, July of 1991. This just screams early 90s. They intentionally wanted to be essentially a New Kids on the Block ripoff. They just went for it. They were high school friends. They were in an acapella. They were choir boys, literally choir boys. And they decided to form an acapella group and make this kind of music. And Color Me Bad, I think they go from, because it is a multicultural group, unlike New Kids on the Block, which is about as white as it can possibly get.
It doesn't get any wider than that.
You've got this multiracial thing, Color Me Bad. It kind of works a little bit like In Living Color, maybe. And it's a good name. And I'll just go ahead and say it now. Yes, I only remember 3 of their songs, really. Having gone back and listened, and I always thought they were really cheesy, and you just roll your eyes when you become an adult. Of course, at the time it was great. It was fun. You know what? I'm not gonna sit there and tell you I'm gonna bump CMB like in my car with my subwoofers.
You're not rolling down the windows going, "Sup, bro," busting out "Groove My Mind."
But it's just happy, mindless, fun music that just brings a smile to your face and takes you back to like 5th grade.
Yeah, I mean, because let's be honest, you were 10 when this came out. Let's put this into context, all right? So when you heard the song, I Want to Sex You Up, that was about the coolest damn thing you had probably heard at the time.
You are absolutely right. That is why that's why I bought this album, for that song specifically. And I remember I just wanted the single because all I cared about was that song. But I knew I couldn't get away with it. I knew if I had a cassette tape that had I Want to Sex You Up on it, that's a sure way to get caught.
Oh, totally.
And get that taken away from you. So I had to buy the whole album. And just looking at the album is just screams early 90s. I love it. It's like a time capsule. And it's, you know, it's the nice thing about the early 90s is like, the 90s didn't know the 90s were there yet. I mean, we're talking 1988, 89, Neon, and all that stuff. It's just great. Love it.
Oh, it just completely was like, it was just a slight evolution of the 80s when it came to early 90s. I like how their Color Me Bad is in literally 3 different colors, red, yellow, and blue.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is about how many different colors can we put in? They're screaming late 80s, early 90s jackets,
yes,
and undershirts, and it's dope.
I think we should bring that fashion back, to be quite honest with you.
I've been Googling that lately, trying to find some of that fashion. I want to bring it back, and I'm serious.
Okay, so they were discovered by Kool and the Gang. That's who originally found them. So that's pretty impressive. Kool and the Gang is all time. In terms of party music, and just one of the greatest bands, 50 years of music, discovered by Kool and the Gang. They ambushed Bon Jovi after a concert. They waited for Bon Jovi to come out. They ambushed him and sang a cappella songs to him. And he said, you know what? I want you guys to open for me tomorrow night. The very next night, they played in front of 20,000 people opening for Bon Jovi.
How sweet is that?
I know, that's like an American success story. I mean, that's just like the classic follow your dream, you know, stalk a celebrity,
well, yeah,
and sing to them. And that also kind of reminds me, skipping ahead a little bit, do you remember the episode of 90210 that they were on? They were on Beverly Hills 90210 and went to the Peach Pit and started singing to the gang at the Peach Pit. And Kelly went up to their hotel room.
Oh. Do you know what I think is impressive? And this is, I'm glad to know that literally they were a bunch of friends in high school that, you know, stalked a celebrity and just starts singing and trying to get the attention and follow their dreams, because so many of these groups are completely manufactured by the machine.
Oh, these guys were too, but they
well, no, but yes, but no, because they were already friends. They weren't like, hi, I'm Jim. Hi, I'm Bob. Hey, okay, we're going to be dancing and singing together. All right.
Yeah.
How long have we been friends, guys? We've been friends for a while now. Is that the story we're going
The thing
with?
is, these
guys were actually friends. They were choir boys.
Yes.
They were choir boys. Not even just friends, choir boys.
This is true. But look at who they were emulating. They were emulating New Kids on the Block, which is the ultimate manufactured group.
Well, they were emulating what was made in the machine and in the cog and spit out to the American public. But you can say that it's a cooler story because they actually were friends. They knew each other before they were famous. They knew each other before they had success. They had maybe what we would consider a misguided view of what they wanted to be, because I don't know who wakes up and goes, got it. Let's be like the New Kids on the Block. But at the time, they were the hottest thing in the world, and chicks dug that. I mean, every woman loved these guys, and they loved New Kids on the Block. So I get why they did it, but they weren't manufactured by the machine. They might have been processed once they were picked up, yes.
Okay. I got your point.
They came into this with pure intentions, not packaged before they even knew each other.
Okay.
And that's cool.
Fair enough. It also gives me hope for you and me, Chad. And it gives us hope for us who, you know, became friends way back in the day, that you and I might get discovered from this podcast, that somebody might come along and be like, hey, let's put these guys in front of 20,000 people tomorrow night.
You know, I'm telling you, I mean, if they just listen to our opening of Mi Amor, I Adore, I really think they're going to start to see the
I adore mi
foundation.
amor.
Did I say it wrong?
Yes.
Mi amor, I adore. I did it backwards, didn't I? If they just listened to our beautiful singing that we bestowed upon everybody up front at the top of this episode, seek no further. Agents will be throwing cards at us.
I didn't realize this until getting ready for this. There is a front man to the group. I thought it was just a four guys, a quartet.
Yeah, an ensemble, yeah.
It's the short-haired George Michael, who is the quote, front man, and his name is Brian Abrams. I don't know the other guys' names, and I will refer to them as the long-haired George Michael and Kenny G and Milli Vanilli.
I mean,
throughout.
he is the guy with the short hair, but if you look at all the photos, he is kind of positioned a little more up front.
I should study the photos a little closer.
This was a band of four. I mean, come on. This was, there might be a front man, but let's be honest. They did so much together.
Well, to that point, though, when I was watching the I Wanna Sex You Up video today, I noticed Brian is the one that sings the verses, and everybody else, the other three guys, are just going, ooh, 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 I wanna sex you up, ooh, and then they also have la 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 la. So let's transition to I Adore Mi Amor and that music video. Chad, do you have any thoughts on that music video?
You were asking me, like, what made us actually think about doing this, Color Me Bad, for our second to last of season 1. I was sitting on the couch the other day, and that music video came on MTV Classic Hits, and I'm sitting here, because, since I'm stuck before 2000, it's what I watch. I don't watch MTV now. I watch MTV Classics from the 80s and 90s.
Yes.
Just so everybody's aware. That's
well
my
you should.
MTV. Yes. That came on. I'm like, oh, yeah, these guys, I remember. And then I became so mortified because it was one girl and all four guys literally following her around and serenading her.
Yes.
And singing to her. And that's weird.
Yes.
And I remember calling you up and I'm like, watching this now, this feels a little weird. And I remember you saying, what?
Creepy.
Well, no, I remember you going, it was creepy when I was 10.
Yeah.
It was creepy when I was 10. It's not just creepy because you're, I'm pushing, 40. Mm-hmm. It was creepy then. Four dudes all clamoring for the same girl. Like, even at a young age, You're like, I don't want to be, if I'm going to be number 2 or 3 on that list, I'm out.
Exactly. The story behind it, this makes it a little bit better.
Justify it. Go.
You see it. You see at the begin. You see the beginning of the video. They are shipwrecked. Those four guys are shipwrecked and are on a desert island. There is no girl there. Something like this chest washes ashore, and they open it up, and there's stuff in it. One of the things in there was like a magazine cover or a picture out of a magazine, and that girl was the model or whatever. And then you all kind of see them sleeping. So what's happening is, this is the one girl they've laid eyes on in a picture, and however long they've been stranded, they are all taking naps in the same bungalow. Yes, and a little close for comfort.
No.
It's their dream. They're dreaming about her.
Yeah, I get it.
In their own headcanon, it's just them. You don't see the other guys in their own particular scene.
But then they shoot it where they're all following each other. They're literally like neck and neck, all like, yeah, kind of swaggering toward the girl.
I don't think so. I think the only time you see them together is when they're singing themselves as a group on the shipwrecked island.
Yes, and then they cut to her and she's right there. It's the same thing.
No. There is a cut.
Like, come on.
When she's in there, it's them in their particular dreams, and they're serenading her. They're like, well, the Milli Vanilli guy kisses her and wakes her up. They all do something different, and so I don't think the other guys are ever in the shot.
They all do something different. Yes. But I'm sorry, like, even the fact of, like, the magazine cover You know what I mean? Like they're all looking at the same hottie on the front of the magazine. Like,
yeah,
the whole thing is still weird.
They're on a desert island. It's the only girl they've seen in however many months or years. I mean, anyway, I'm just saying it has an explanation. I'm not saying it's not creepy, but it's less creepy now that I know there's a reason behind it.
Okay, they're literally all four on their knees, bending down, staring at the photo, waving in the wind together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Everything about this is weird.
That's different than a gang of four guys following a girl down a beach and all making a pass at her at the same time.
They're passing the photo around to each other like, your turn, bro. Like, it's almost weirder. They're passing the photo around like, I'll be on the other side of the island. Take your time.
I think their best song is All for Love. That hook is one of the catchiest hooks to any pop song I've ever heard. It gets stuck in your head. It is so catchy. It is so... Oh man, it again screams 90s. There's that like little piano doo doo like over and over and over. The hook is a beautiful piece of early 90s pop schlock. I want you to know I do it all for love. I'm not kidding you when I say they're going through a revival right now. Look at the YouTube comments on all these. So many people are saying still listening in 2020 or rediscovered this in 2020. They must be a pandemic darling because people want happy, and that's why we do this show. We're not curing cancer here. We're giving you mindless entertainment, trying to bring a smile to your face, trying to take you back in time to better times. And that's what this band does for me. It's schlock. I'm not saying it's good music, but isn't it good if it makes you happy?
Again, we talk about this all the time, how heavy and real everything has to be today, and how like you're always going on and on and on about the anti-heroes and how everything has to be dark and what's good versus evil. It's all blended together in the same.
For sure.
So I get that. This truly is that you can't not smile when you hear Color Me Bad songs. Like there isn't, even before I wanted to recheck a few things right before we got on, and I'm like flipping through and literally like, I'm grinning ear to ear as you're like coming on and like saying hi. And you're like, what's up with you, bro? And I'm like, just checking out some Color Me Bad again. Like, you can't hate this music, even if it's not like your thing, you know?
Yeah.
Even if it's not totally your thing, you can't help but go, this is just fun music. You can get behind it.
Yeah. It's certainly not like I listen to Color Me Bad. I mean, sometimes you hear All for Love on the 90s on 9 on Sirius XM or whatever, but it has been close to 30 years since I really listened to this stuff, and we're not using the word hold up anymore because it's not about holding up. It does what it's supposed to do, which is make you smile, and it's not good music. It's not Beethoven. It's not Pink Floyd. It's just cheesy pop, and that's all it was ever meant to be, and it delivers. I want to say one thing about Brian Abrams, the frontman. There's some really dark stuff out there about him. I didn't realize this. He's a major drinker, or was. He's struggled with substance abuse. There's a video clip of him on Dr. Phil out there if you want to see hear about his journey. I think it's just from about a year ago. He 3 DUIs, and get this, he pushed one of his bandmates. The Color Me Bad bandmates pushed him on the stage really effing hard. Like, not just like a friendly little push, like pushed him down, maybe off the stage. He landed into some equipment. He was arrested for assault.
Wow. And
charged with assault. But it sounds like, I looked him up on Instagram, and it says, it doesn't really say anything, it's just pictures, but it says recovery warrior on his singer and recovery warrior. So I really hope he got his together.
Yeah, I do too.
Turned his life around.
You wouldn't think that somebody that's saying all for love would be doing the things that you're claiming he's doing.
Here's the thing. I came up with this idea about these guys, and it applies not just to this band, but anything that gets big. Certainly it happened with like Vanilla Ice and things. Something comes out, and everybody loves it. It gets big, everybody loves it. Then everybody parodies it.
Totally.
And then everybody hates it. Then everybody forgets about it. And then people remember it.
Huh.
And that is the cycle, I think, these things go through if you have any lasting cultural impact. But you got to keep in mind, for at least half of that time, and in fact, most of the last 30 years for Color Me Bad has been in that hating it, forgetting it category, I would say. And so it's got to be hard to live like that. It's got to be hard to have that much fame at a very young age. You're the biggest thing. You're on OSTs. You're opening for Bon Jovi and Paula Abdul. You're selling millions of albums. You're on In Living Color. But your shelf life is like a year and a half.
So
tops.
short. Yeah, so short. And then nobody knows who you are anymore.
Then everybody wants to tear you down. And then people on it for 10 years. Oh, it's so cheesy and all this stuff. And then people just forget about it. You're just out of your consciousness. Nobody even, let's Color Me Bad. But after a certain point, if it has lasting effect, it will come back. And it looks like they are coming back right now, which is amazing.
Well, good for them. It sounds like he's getting his life in order. It sounds like they're making a comeback a little bit. And they truly are. I mean, as much as I want to joke about some of their music videos and some of what made them super famous and how cheesy some of it is, they truly did have an impact on society.
Oh my God.
So many people loved their music. It spoke to an entire generation of young people that were 10 to 16 at the time. And anybody that was in that age, that's a stamp on their life forever. And good for them.
Yeah.
And their homies that were friends from school. So that's even cooler.
I was
good for them.
I was actually about to jump in at a certain point there and say, Chad, I feel like you're using just your stock answer, your stock point, just your they could apply to anything.
You got the smart one in. No, that's because you got the smart one in. You gave your whole you got to be forgotten and and then remembered, and you gave me chills thinking about it, which I didn't want to admit on this, that you actually gave me chills for a smart point, because that's usually not you. But no, you said something really great. They were forgotten, and now there's their time again.
Yeah.
And they do deserve it.
Fair point. And I, especially the last thing you said, I just don't want people to get the wrong impression that even though I think it's fun and cheesy and I really enjoyed going down memory lane, I really cringed at the thought of people thinking Adam Wintz was deeply impacted by Color Me Bad.
Okay, I might have gotten a little overzealous in the impact.
It brings back good memories of my childhood. It brings
back good memories,
and that's all it needed to be. So
yeah.
And that's what this show is all about, bringing you back to the good times and your happier halcyon days of the early 90s.
Before the world went to hell around the year 2000.